Guess you don't move. You're still here. No, no. Ah! Ah!
Hey guys, I am back again for another Jurassic Park 3 figure video, and it's going to be focusing on most of the figures that I have in the original Jurassic Park 3 collection. This is not going to be including any figures that are repaints from the Jurassic Park Dinosaur Series 2 and 3 toy lines, or the 2009 or 2013 toy lines that came out afterwards. This is focusing primarily only specifically on just Jurassic Park 3. And that also means no Camo Extreme, because I don't have a single figure from that, and that would have hurt my wallet. But really, regardless, I really enjoy Jurassic Park 3 so much, and me being the connoisseur of that particular movie and its figures, this is definitely going to be a lot of fun to take a look at, because without a doubt, it's definitely one of my favorite figure lines to collect. So first off, we're going to be starting off with the human figures. Going to be taking a look at the original Alan Grant. And of course, I've already taken a look at this particular sculpt many times beforehand, and now I have the original version after all these years of passing it off and all that stuff. But owning it now is definitely a pleasure, and I really like this figure regardless of it being the same thing over and over, but I really love it. It's just overall a very cool Dr. Grant figure, and undoubtedly one of the more iconic looking action figures of all time. Comes with his weapon. He does have his raptor, but again, we're going to take a look at the other figures like that later on, so we're just going to be focusing on the humans. And then the other figures here, so we got Alan Grant number 2, which is basically Alan Grant from the second wave. This one was definitely a very good looking Alan Grant figure, and I've always liked this figure. I just wish I owned it sooner. And back in 2018, when I first got this, I was like, this was it. This is my favorite, and I love this figure, and I used it in only at least one or two of my toy movies. I definitely like this Alan Grant figure. It's definitely one of the better Alan Grant figures in the Jurassic Park 3 toy line. Overall, this is a good figure, and it comes with compies and a flamethrower, but I don't have that. Got it completely loose. And then here's actually the first JPIII Alan Grant figure I found at vintage stock, and I still have this one. It's a little worn out, but it's still in pretty okay condition. This is the one that came with the motorcycle and Velociraptor, the female Velociraptor, and we'll be going over a little bit more later in that. So yeah, this Alan Grant figure is definitely a really good looking figure. I really like the overall aesthetic that this figure has, and it's the first Alan Grant to have bendable knees for the motorcycle in general. Still got the same head sculpt, which matches Sam Neill's likeness in my opinion. I really like this figure. It's definitely another great figure to have in the collection. And then I also got its repaint from the Raptor Attack playset. Got it loose, and it's in much better condition than the other Alan Grant figure, and it's definitely a nice action figure. Same figure, but I just really like the colors on this figure. It's just, I really like these figures, and I did take a look at this figure a while ago when I first got it in an unedited review at the time, so there's that. And then the next figure we're going to go up next, we're going to go over the Billy Brennan figures. So we have Billy over here, the original Billy Brennan figure. I don't have the glider or the Pteranodon hatcher that it came with. Only have that for the 2009 version or 2013 renditions. And also have the glider for the 2004 version, but that's really it. Overall, this Billy Brennan figure is nice. Really love the way it looks. I mean, it could be close to movie accurate, but not entirely, because his pants color is the wrong color. And he doesn't really wear the colors he has, but definitely looks like a very nice figure, and he definitely matches the likeness to Alessandro Nivola. I mean, it looks nice. As far as I'm concerned, I just really like this figure a lot. And yeah, overall, very happy that I still own this particular figure. And that's Billy. But the second Billy Brennan figure that came with the All-Terrain Dino Trapper, this particular version, is definitely one of the cooler figures. And his likeness looks a lot better on this one more. And he just looks a lot cooler. Overall, this is just a great Billy figure. It's definitely got a very Dino Tracker 2000s inspired look. He just looks so great. I looked at this figure already in the All-Terrain Dino Trapper video, as you can check out more detail in that figure and that vehicle as well. But yeah, I have this figure. Definitely one of my favorites in the toy line. When it comes to Billy figures, it's definitely the best. Right up next, we have Eric Kirby right here. He's a nice figure, only just by the head. And yeah, just the head sculpt, he looks fine. Overall, it's still a bit of a disappointing figure, because he only has 4 points of articulation. That's for waist, head, and arms. But he doesn't have any like bendable legs or anything. It's just he's essentially kind of like an accessory. Like I think I said that before, but overall, it's like this Eric Kirby figure is okay, but I definitely do wish there was a better Eric. I mean, there should be a better Eric figure, but he's really nicely sculpted in certain areas, and he's also nicely scaled up with the characters because, you know, he doesn't need to be an out-of-scaled character in order to work out for the line. So there's Eric Kirby. I mean, he's a little bit of a disappointing figure, but he's not entirely terrible in my opinion. I mean, I like him, but just wish there was a better figure of him. Next, Paul Kirby, the okay Kirby character in Jurassic Park 3. Honestly, I've grown to like him a lot more now than I thought I would. I'm definitely fine with Paul Kirby, and plus this action figure is pretty nice. I said that beforehand. It's just an overall really nice figure, and it's also, this is another one of the more rare figures. I think he came out in the second wave, and I was still lucky to finally get this figure, and he definitely does look nice. So in my opinion, Paul Kirby, you A-okay. Very good figure, and he knocked over Eric. Well, Eric has to be a little bit of a weird sculpt anyway, so that's how it's going to be. And then next, Amanda Kirby. May be the worst Jurassic Park character, yeah, but at the same dang time, she's got an incredible action figure. Really cool action figure. She doesn't have the tail Leone like this, which is weird, but at the same time, kind of fine. I mean, I like this figure enough, and just overall, she's a very badass figure. Like, it's so weird that a character like Amanda Kirby has a character like this in action figure form. It's nothing like the movie, but that's fine. Overall, really am glad I own this one. She's also another one that a little bit difficult to track down at a decent price, so I'm glad I finally own her. I finally have the original military diver, which I'm just going to keep calling him Carlos because that's what I've always called the military diver in most of my toy movies. But yeah, military diver Carlos, the OG version from Jurassic Park 3. I do not have the weapon though. I only just found this loose because finding it with the weapon and everything else would cost a lot more apparently, but I found this one for an affordable price, and I love this figure. Just owning it in person instead of just repainting the same one that I had for years and years and years. But it's so cool that I finally own this version, and basically I own all 3 renditions of the military diver. Really love them, and I'll just place them right next to Dr. Grant over here. And then we have the last figure that came in recently in the mail, and that is the military general, or General Drake, as I always call them in my toy movies. Let me take the weapon out because, yeah, he did come with the weapon. His weapon is supposed to be a grenade launcher or something like that, but I always like to think of it as a flamethrower because it looks really cool that way. But the military general figure, again, exact same figure that I went over twice or so, one being the Jurassic Park Dinosaur Series 2 version and the 2009-2013 Force Hunter General version. But I really like this figure, and now owning this particular version in person, definitely am glad that I own it. It's a cool figure. The original paint scheme is definitely much more muted than I did to my weird customized version that I did back in 2014 when Jurassic World Before the Park, when I made that movie and I had that figure painted up like this. I definitely got the colors wrong on that one. But finally got to own this particular figure. He looks very nice. As far as I'm concerned, just overall the same figure. And his weapon, which is right here, like I said, it's supposed to be a grenade launcher, but I think of it as a flamethrower, and it does work like that. Even though that's a controversial bit when it comes to the Jurassic Park toys, it should just be a push button mechanism instead of just pulling on that or just pushing on that thing. Gonna go ahead and put the weapon back on him. He only carries him in one hand. Could have had a way for him to sculpt the entirety of it on in a better way. So that's basically all the human figures from Jurassic Park 3 that I have so far. I am missing at least one, and that is the pilot from the helicopter playset. That's gonna probably find that one soon. Next up, we're gonna go over the mini dinosaurs that I have from Jurassic Park 3, and I only got just basically 5, so we're gonna go over them all. First, the T-Rex from the military general. Now, the only problem with this one is that it just doesn't stand up because it's warped from when it came in, and I got this set loose. So that's unfortunate. But overall, this T-Rex sculpt, which I went over so many times beforehand, definitely still a nice sculpt. Really love this paint job too. The paint job is also really great too. It's almost like trying to replicate a Jurassic Park 3 looking T-Rex color scheme, but it's still a brown Rex with black stripes. The only thing that's different is just the green that they try to match on it, trying to make it look more like a sort of Rex. But with all honesty, they kind of almost try to do a different version of Rexy because, again, Rexy is brown with black stripes. But overall, a very nice T-Rex. and it's got the JP3 mark right there. Very great sculpt, but doesn't really want to stand up. I'm just going to go ahead and place it right next to the military general. It's going to just lay back like that and hopefully it doesn't fall over. And then next, Spinosaurus. I already looked at this little sculpt in the review of the Atrociraptor, which I bought these figures in, and this actually came with Amanda Kirby. So it's nice that I finally own the original Spino, and I love the little paint scheme and everything matching how it should look, or it's supposedly like semi-movie accurate. Supposedly, it just looks really cool. Got the JP3 mark right there on there. It's like I said this before, nicely sculpted Spinosaurus. I really love this one. And the legs make me warped, but at least it could try to at least stand up. So I'm gonna, knocked over Amanda. But at this point, Amanda's always gonna get knocked over. Next up, have the Aqua Spinosaurus right here, which came from the military diver. Again, nice sculpt, nice aqua blue patterns that they have right here. Just overall very, very cool. And its paint scheme is a lot more movie accurate because the Spinosaurus is apparently a grayish color and rather than being brown, but it's so cool. Overall, this is a nice sculpt. Okay, next up we have the original Raptor hatchling that came with Dr. Grant, the standard one. And overall, very nice looking Raptor with its paint scheme. Definitely like the painted toe claws, which really do look cool. And in terms of that paint scheme that they use, it wasn't just obviously using black, so they're using the different color. Definitely looks really nice for it to stand out. And the paint scheme is that little dark crimson color with black and red patterns to match a JP3 inspired Velociraptor look. Overall, it's just a very nice sculpt. And also, it does have a little bit of a defect, which is basically no slit pupil on the other side of its eye. So that does look a little demonish. I mean, it looks a little alien, like kind of nice without it, but at the same time, would have been better if it had it, because it might as well just be called a Cyclops Raptor if I had to say it. That's kind of unintentional, but that'd be kind of cool. So I'm gonna go place this Raptor right here. And then last but not least, we have the Alpha Pteranodon hatchling right here. Definitely one of the cooler sculpts. And again, like I said, this one felt like it was a meat and potatoes of the Eric Kirby set, because again, Eric felt like an accessory. He could be clamped together on the legs right here. But yeah, overall, very, very cool sculpt. And heck, even the lighting kind of captures this dang thing. So cool. It's a very great looking Pteranodon. And it's so great that I finally own this one, because I already have the Jurassic Dinosaur Series 3 version, and I already took a look at that one. And yeah, now all I need to do is let it balance somewhere. So hopefully if I could just put it behind here so it don't fall over. Yeah, it's going to stay like that. Next to go over, I'm going to go over vehicles before moving on to the dinosaurs. So first, I'm going to take a look at this, which actually did come in the mail, and that is, surprisingly, the motorcycle that came with Alan Grant and the female Raptor. Now, the electronics don't work, but of course, the spring-loaded ejector seat thing does work still. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that by putting Alan Grant on the motorcycle. I think it only works when you don't have them clamped together on the clutch of the motorcycle, so let's give it a go. Okay, it actually does work a lot better. It's like when you have them attached to the thing like this, he won't really fall over or even do anything wacky like he did in the actual card back of the figure. The action feature does work pretty nicely. So it's kind of nice to own the motorcycle now, just knowing how cool it is. I mean, of course, Alan Grant wouldn't really be riding a motorcycle like that, but it'd be very cool. But let's take a look at the motorcycle in detail. And actually, this is removable because the clamps on it are rubberized. So the gun can be separate. And the gun is also nicely sculpted. It's got the JP3 mark on down here, and it's actually a missile launcher. So pressing the button shoots it out. Well, there you go. And it kind of does look a little weird, though, without that launcher. For some reason, I always mistaken this for a minigun for some reason. Maybe because of the way this is shaped. If they just kind of resculpted this whole thing, it would almost look like a minigun on top. It would have been funny, but also really cool. But overall, this is nice. And it also is a handheld weapon because of the handheld portion of the gun. And then we're going to take a look at the motorcycle, which is nicely sculpted as well. And I thought for certainly this is supposed to be a breakaway action feature right here. Maybe I might be wrong. Maybe because it has that wobbly feel, but I guess that's supposed to be an effect of what it's supposed to be. I don't know what really is supposed to be the case. And the thing is supposed to make sound effects, but much like the Triceratops I reviewed before, the Jurassic Dinosaur Series 3 Triceratops, the electronics are probably bugged out as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. I haven't really given it a test, but I don't think I need to. But of course, this is really about going over the detailing of the motorcycle because I haven't really had a review on this one. Got a JPIII mark right there. Very nice. Got some scratch marks on the seats. Scratch marks over here on the brackets. I think that's supposed to be called, but it's the same thing where something's supposed to bend down and make the seat go up. It's an overall nicely sculpted motorcycle. It's also got the scratch marks continuing over down here. And it's also got an InGen logo over here, which is really cool. So the other side got JPIII. This one's got InGen. So again, this is the InGen motorcycle, which is good to know. And I think this is supposed to be the battery compartment right here. This black part right here. I'm not sure. Might be wrong on that one. But I don't even know there is a battery compartment here somewhere. But yeah, overall, this motorcycle is very nice. Gonna go ahead and put the weapon back in. And gotta go ahead and display it right here. And it does have that clamps to stand up, so that's nice. And then another vehicle that we got, which is basically still a prized possession in my collection, and that is the All-Terrain Dino Trapper. Mostly complete. Well, yeah, complete in general. Now, I already went over this vehicle in great detail in a separate video when I was celebrating the 20th anniversary of Jurassic Park 3, so want more info in that vehicle, you can check that video out. But this is obviously one of the best things I've ever bought. And of course, the action features still work. Just overall, just a very cool vehicle. Like, without a doubt, some of the coolest things I've seen from this toy line. And it's also one of the few things that did come out of my childhood, but I never really owned this vehicle. My older brother owned this vehicle a long time ago. And owning it now, again, like I said, owning it for this day and day, still like a pleasure. Really love this vehicle, and the overall feel of this vehicle is just so nostalgic. Even if I never really owned it, but owning it now and then using it for the toy movie that I made, just such a great freaking vehicle. It's like, I already took a look at this vehicle, like I said, so it's gonna go sit right here. Like, you might not be able to see it in frame, but well, there you go. Might back up a little bit because now we're going to be taking a look at the dinosaurs, the last few, which are mostly all the React Attack dinosaurs I have. First, the original Tyrannosaurus Rex right here. Overall, I still like the 2009 version, but of course, I definitely will be picking up the 2005 version, the Dinosaur Series 3 version. Still love this little guy. His legs are glued together though, because again, very loose legs. Just an overall very nice T-Rex toy with a very off-putting likeness that doesn't really match a JPIII Rex. But overall, just a really cool dinosaur toy. I guess I'm just nostalgia written on the figure, but yeah, I do like this figure, regardless of some of the imperfections on it. So it's gonna sit somewhere over here. Oh, please don't fall. You gotta stand. And then next, we have the Spinosaurus, the original React Tech Spinosaurus. Of course, this is a different variation. This is the light brown variation, because there is a dark brown variation of this toy too, which I used to have. This is still definitely one of my favorite Spinosaurus figures because I like the way its stance is, and it's the only one with an open mouth action feature. Of course, the Aqua Spinosaurus, which we'll take a look at next, is definitely much more cooler in terms of its sculpt. But again, I just really like this one a lot. It just, without a doubt, I like this one more. And I'm gonna go ahead and just have you fight the T-Rex off or something. Kind of like, there. Let's just leave you like that. Next, Aqua Spinosaurus, which I already reviewed last year, celebrating the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park. So this is definitely a very cool Spinosaurus. Really love the paint scheme and everything. And it's a lot more of a movie accurate Spino in terms of the sculpting. The paint job definitely is like slightly a combination of non-movie accuracy and movie accuracy. If the white was more gray, then it would have been a lot more movie accurate. But overall, very cool Spinosaurus. I took the batteries out of these, so I'm trying to make sure they don't get corroded over time. But yeah, this Spinosaurus is so great. Like, just got to go over the detailing and everything. It's got the slashing arms maneuver instead of the opening mouth. I wish it did have the open and closed mouth, but yeah, still a very great Spinosaurus. So we're going to go ahead and set that right here, and hopefully it doesn't fall over. It's going to fall over because it's kind of front heavy. The tail is too stubby to make it fall over, to make it at least stand up. Gotta put it somewhere. I don't know really where. Might as well just go ahead and attach it somewhere the foot. Next up, the Raptors. We're gonna go over the Raptors, which I have 4 Raptors in this. First one being the Alpha Raptor from Jurassic Park 3, the original. Definitely one of the cooler Raptor figures in this line because, again, the sculpt, while questionably stance, it's still pretty cool. I've already went over this sculpt plenty of times beforehand. Definitely do wish I owned that 2005 rendition with the black and green paint scheme and yellow feathers. I mean, that's just looks really nostalgic and cool. But yeah, this Raptor is also really just a nice figure. Definitely got a really cool paint scheme. And like I had to say so many times, I definitely really like this toy. And it's got that really good, incredible detailing around. Got a really incredible likeness. Just really like this toy. So I'm gonna go place it right here. Hopefully it doesn't knock anybody over. This also has his legs glued together because it's just very loose. I might as well just have it sit right next to the motorcycle, even though that should be the spot of the female Raptor. But okay, you know what? You just gotta stand up like this. That's how it's gonna be. Secondly, let's go over the pack Raptor that came out in the second wave. This one's a little bit more of the uglier Raptor, but in my opinion, I've always liked this one. I keep saying that it's supposed to be movie accurate, but it's technically not because the paint scheme doesn't really match up too much to its movie accuracy. But it is a Raptor that I really adored, especially when it has the open and closed mouth feature and all that. I definitely like this Raptor in terms of that, but overall, it's just a very cool looking Raptor aside from the weird stance and everything. And also, the only part that is like that is glued together is just this one because it's incredibly loose. Meanwhile, the other leg is just fine. And yeah, really like this Raptor. And then we have the female Jurassic Park 3 Velociraptor, which is definitely one of my favorites in the toy line. And now I've finally completed the Raptor motorcycle chase playset, which is this Raptor, the motorcycle on the back, and Alan Grant being blocked by the Spino in the background. But yeah, I finally have this still. I always love the female Raptor, even if it has a weird likeness. But yeah, definitely love this Raptor. And yeah, I think it can finally stand up now because, I don't know, it really needs to stand up. And then I have the green variation that came with the Raptor Attack playset with the repainted green shirt Dr. Grant. Definitely a really nice Raptor. Overall, it's been a long time coming since I had to get this. I got this alongside the Aqua Spinosaurus and took a look at that in a video from last year. So that's this figure. Gonna go sit right next to the Raptor on the other side. And then the last but not least, the last JP3 figure I have has to be the Pteranodon. The React-Attack Pteranodon, the standard version. And definitely one of the best looking sculpts because the Pteranodons, when it comes to Jurassic Park 3, the Pteranodons are so cool. Not just by the overall film appearance, but just their figures. And it doesn't have no batteries alongside it either. It's just going to be like this. But it's a nicely sculpted Pteranodon with an incredible paint job. And yeah, just really, really love this Pteranodon figure. It definitely has its wings warped, unfortunately. But I don't really care much. As long as I still own this figure, it's all the more better to have. It's also got some posable legs right here. They swivel, but they're fine. It's also got an open leg over here to clamp onto like any action figure at least. This one doesn't really have much to do anything. The other side, got all the veiny texture detail over here with all that really cool paint scheme. And it's Jurassic Park 3 logo right here. So overall, this Pteranodon is a massive win in terms of the JP3 toy line. And there is the other variations, like the one that's apparently almost a new sculpt, which was the Tapejara or Tapejara. Well, the one that came out in the second wave of figures. That one's another rare figure that I might not be able to own. Okay, so that's essentially every Jurassic Park 3 figure I have from the original line. No repaints included from afterwards, just these particular figures. I am almost complete just by getting a few more figures, but even then, I don't know if I want to try to complete every bit of this collection because I know there's a lot of rare figures and expensive figures, but I'm just only trying to collect at least just the vehicles and humans to complete most of the dang time because I feel like that is the most important part. Definitely can't wait to at least get a little bit more of this line because it's definitely just one of my favorite lines of all time. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will be seeing you guys later.